Ethnic transfer levy, e-levy bill expected to be laid.
State enterprises tax to reverse the phenomenon of continuous revenue losses.
ECOWAS leaders confer again on another coup in the sub-region.
And Burkina Faso's new military leader promises to return country to constitutional rule when the conditions are right. It's time for news coming to you live on GBC News and GTV. Hello, good evening. I am Suyoko Kwakucha. Welcome to the news.
Good evening. I am Shirley Annan. The President, Nana Akufo-Addo, has directed the State Interest and Governance Authority, SIGA, to initiate measures to minimize the phenomenon of continuous posting of losses by state enterprises. Nana Akufo-Addo told leaders and managers of state enterprises at the 2022 SIGA Policy and Governance Forum in Accra that the 5.3 billion Ghana cedi loss recorded by the state enterprises in 2020 is disturbing and unacceptable.
The SIGA Policy and Governance Forum gives managers of state enterprises the opportunity to share and start strategies on strengthening state-owned enterprises and joint venture capital entities to increase performance. The forum focuses on optimization of performance, considers risks, debts management and compliance without ignoring the central role of governance. Currently, there are 183 state enterprises in the country. However, according to the Finance Ministry, majority of these enterprises have been recording losses, which saw a 5.3 billion cedi loss in 2020. At the heart of the 2022 SIGA Policy and Governance Forum is how to reverse this trend. Christian, improving the performance of specified enterprises, leadership and technology, the Director General of the State Interests and Governance Authority, SIGA, Mr. Edward Boateng, said, enhanced performance is a requirement for all state enterprises.
We cannot manage that which we cannot measure. The books have to balance if we are to achieve our goal of building an economic superhighway. Else the President's vision of a Ghana beyond aid will be a dream. Specified entities should be the catalyst to help grow our economy and unleash our creativity.
The Minister for Public Enterprises, Mr. Joseph Kuju, said managers and leaders of state enterprises must implement policies to turn the fortunes of their entities around. A Deputy Minister for Finance, Mr. John Kuma, said government will sanction entities that fail to comply with the compliance requirement of public financial management regulations.
Government also expects to implement a financing policy to specified entities, particularly SOEs and OSEs, namely requirement for specified entities to operate on the strength of their balance sheets. Capitalization of new specified entities to be funded only through the sale of non-strategic assets and not drawn from tax revenue or added to the public debt.
President Akufo-Addo challenged managers of state enterprises to work hard to transform their respective entities and put it in a better shape than how they met it.
Between 2018 and 2019, losses posted by specified entities rose significantly by some 200%, with the Auditor General's report for 2020 making for difficult reading. At this time, when government is doing its best to see to the rapid growth of the economy, we must bring the phenomenon of posting losses to an end. There should be no reason why SIGA, which has its collaborative institutions embedded in almost all the critical sectors of the economy, such as energy, mining, agriculture, financial and allied services, ICT, and regulatory agencies, should be found wanting in the discharge of its mandate.
President Akufo-Addo further charged the leaders and managers of these enterprises to rehash their business plans so their respective entities become successful.
The directors of Eon 3, initiators of the Otumfuo commemorative gold coin, on Thursday evening presented the Otumfuo celebratory gold coin to President Akufo-Addo. The commemorative gold coin is a lifelong project and a legacy for the Asantehene Otumfuo Seitu. This will also serve as a vehicle to project the country's cultural heritage. The Otumfuo commemorative gold coin recognizes the Asantehene's invaluable role and remarkable achievements in preserving the peace and protecting life, the development of Ghana, and ensuring peaceful coexistence of all. The initiative is by Eon 3 Group, together with the Menchia Palace, as a fitting memorial in honor of Otumfuo Seitu. The group was at the Jubilee House to present a copy of the gold coin to President Akufo-Addo. Mr. Hessie Japan is a lead consultant for Eon 3, and according to him, the commemorative gold coin symbolizes Ghana's rich culture.
It's important to state, Mr. President, that the gold coin is a lifelong project and not only stands as a legacy for Otumfuo Seitu, but it's also important for Ghana's culture and heritage.
President Akufo-Addo was grateful for the recognition and said such initiatives are good for the country.
I'm hoping that developments like these become normal and customary in the development of our nation. Too often, everything that we're doing has had to be externally induced, inspired. And I'm happy that we are gradually beginning to turn away from that image and reality. And incidents like this are important steps on the way to that development.
Revenue raised from the commemorative coin will go into the Cultural Resource Center, which would be a national heritage for the benefit of generations yet unborn.
The military overthrow of the constitutional government in Burkina Faso last week dominated the ECOWAS Emergency Virtual Summit. On Friday, ECOWAS Chair Nana Akufo-Addo described the current instability in the region as a threat, retarding the region's development. He urged member countries to work hard to find a lasting solution to the situation in Burkina Faso and return the country to constitutional order.
Excellencies, the happenings in the region tell us that not everybody has accepted democracy as the preferred mode of governance. We still have some work to do to convince such people that we are all safer under democracies. The resurgence of coups d'etats in our region is in direct violation of our democratic tenets and represents a threat to peace, security, and stability in West Africa. This situation hinders the much-needed economic and social development of the region. I've convened this meeting with a hope to address the urgent situation in Burkina Faso and find solutions that to restore constitutional order to Burkina Faso and stabilize the region at large. We should not renege in our collective duties and obligations to ensure a peaceful, democratic, just, stable, and prosperous community. I urge you to examine critically this rising phenomenon in our region so that we take the necessary decisions that meet the aspirations and expectations of our people. The rest of the world is looking up to us to be firm in this matter and await the outcome of our meeting. I wish us fruitful deliberation.
It's a watching News Hour live on GBC News. The Burkinabe authorities added that Kulapaga border say the closure of the country's border after the coup only affects human movement and not cargo trucks. Some of the cargo drivers, including tomato traders at the border, said even though security at the checkpoints have been tightened, the coup has not affected their business activities in any way.
Yeah, for the traders and those going in there to buy either tomatoes or onions, they are saying they are taking, it's a risk they are taking, because for now they said they think they are doing to earn a living. So they are moving in there, but they are not entirely happy because of the situation that is happening. But the issue is that as we speak, they said it's only they've closed the borders to human traffic or human movement, but for goods they have allowed that they can move in there and then cut tomatoes. So as we speak, you move to Paga now, the main entry point for these women who are into tomato trade business. They move in there up and down, but they make sure that they don't get themselves trapped in Ouagadougou, capital of Burkina Faso, because the curfew hours there, it is from 9 p.m. onwards. 9 p.m. you are not supposed to be seen outside.
Students of the Simon Diodon Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies at in the Upper West region have made a passionate appeal to the government to address the impasse between it and UTAG members. They told GBC Upper West Regional Correspondent Swala Abdul Wahab that the impact of the strike is becoming unbearable and that government should find a common ground to enable UTAG to call off the strike and resume lectures. Swala Abdul Wahab reports.
It's been 3 weeks since the members of UTAG embarked on strike. We are currently at the campus of the SDD UBITS to find out the impact on academic activities. This is one of the lecture halls, and you can see it is almost empty, with very few students doing their private studies.
This strike seriously has affected us in so many ways. First of all, our academic activities. Because of this strike, today being Friday, we're supposed to carry out our normal academic activities and having our lectures going on. But because of the strike, the halls are empty. No one is around. And I don't know the time they may come back from the strike, but it's difficult for us to study now.
The strike has really affected me personally, because I came on the 10th of January rushing to come and meet lectures ongoing on campus, only to come and then they said there is a strike ongoing. And all the food and the money I brought is almost spent out without having any impact on me. As at this time, we should be writing our mid-trimester, but as at now that we are sitting, we don't know when the mid-trimester will be coming.
Responding to the plight of the students, the Pro-Vice-Chancellor, Professor Emmanuel Darbile, says all academic activities of the university have been disrupted.
The UTAG strike has had a direct consequence, and that direct consequence is that lecturers are not in the lecture halls, the students are also in the lecture halls. So we are unable to discharge one of the key functions, which is teaching and learning, irrespective of whether it is face-to-face or online. So that for me is the direct consequence. What it also means is that we have students on campus and in town, especially those who are resident in town, who have been here for some time now with no sense of direction, and yet they have costs, in terms of their upkeep. And so all these are actually, issues of concern to management.
Professor Darbile prays that the strike doesn't drag for long, else it will have a dire consequences on the university.
We're hoping
Parliament is sitting this evening following the decision by the Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Alban Badwin, to travel outside the country over the weekend to consider the fate of the e-levy. The electronic transfer levy bill is expected to be taken through the various stages this evening, even though it had earlier been scheduled for next week. This followed a series of meetings held by the minority leadership in Parliament on Thursday and Friday by the Minister of Finance, Mr. Ken Oforiatta, which ended without any significant progress. The Speaker of Parliament is expected to travel outside the country for a medical review in Dubai, and it is not yet clear when he will return. There are indications that he could spend up to about a month before returning.
GBC News' Bubu Clinic is observing proceedings in the chamber and reports that the e-levy has not yet been laid before the House.
After waiting for 7 hours, sitting eventually started at about 5 p.m. with the majority leader, Oseche Mensah, reading the business statement. And from that business statement for next week, it is indicated that the controversial e-levy will be taken on Wednesday. However, when the majority leader was presenting the business statement, he gave indications that there were negotiations and consultation going on the levy, and that if they were able to conclude the negotiations, then the e-levy bill will be taken today instead of next week. However, the minority MPs expressed some reservations. The bill actually was scheduled to have been taken from the beginning of this week on Tuesday, but however, the indication was that the Minister for Finance had asked for more time to engage with the various stakeholders who were opposing the bill. So that was why yesterday and today the Minister for Finance met with the minority MPs, but from that meeting there was no agreement on the bill. The minority maintained their position that they are opposed to the bill, they want the bill to be scrapped totally. And so what it means is that there's breakdown in negotiations, and therefore the minister cannot go further with any engagement. And if that is the case, that they feel that it's better they take the bill today, also because they want the speaker to be in the chair before they take the bill, because from next week the speaker is supposed to travel outside for medical review, which means that he will not be available. And what it means is that one of the deputy speakers will have to be in the chair, and which will also reduce the time for the majority MPs in the House. And that is what they want to avoid, so that if we come to voting, the majority can have their way with 138 as against the 137 of the minority.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Minority Leader, Mr. James Haveji, and Majority Leader, Mr. Oseche Mensah hold dissenting views on whether the bill will be laid before the House tonight.
So I was in a meeting in the Speaker's lobby, and the agreement was that we will not take it today. Yes. So that was the agreement before we left the Speaker's lobby. Has there been any other meeting after that to decide that we need to continue with the negotiation and take it today? If that has taken place, we want to know.
The Honorable Kudeto was asking if I could provide an indication for the closure of the process of consultation. So I believe that within a very short time, I don't want, certainly it will not go beyond 1 hour. It certainly will not go beyond 1 hour, and then we'll come to that determination.
From the 1st of February 2022, the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council will pull over 30,000 people on the streets of Accra for the takeoff of Operation Clean Your Frontage and a massive education on the need to make Greater Accra the cleanest city in Africa. At a meeting with the clergy and some corporate bodies in Accra, the Greater Accra Regional Minister courted the necessary support to actualize this dream.
The Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council in 2021 launched the Operation Clean Your Frontage initiative for the Greater Accra region. It expects to deploy over 3,500 people to implement sanitation bylaws under the Operation Clean Your Frontage initiative. The policy by the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council seeks to make it obligatory for all individuals and corporate entities to be responsible for the cleaning and greening of their immediate surroundings. The campaign will, among other things, encourage the greening of the city. The necessary bylaws have been passed and gazetted by the 29 assemblies in Greater Accra Region to enable the lawful implementation of the initiative. From 1st February, the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council will begin to implement the policy and will deploy close to 30,000 individuals to the streets of Accra to clean and educate the general public on the initiative. 15,000 personnel will be drawn from the National Service Scheme with NADMO, the military and other security agencies supporting the exercise. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Mr. Henry Korte, has been explaining the process and plans to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa.
Aside the National Service personnel going around from shop to shop, business to business, with flyers, to try to educate people about what Operation Clean Your Front Door is about. We will have a cleanup at the same time, and we have selected a few areas to start this balancing exercise. One of the areas will be from First Light to Obechebi roundabout, that's the Taneshi area, both sides. We may add a calabash to it.
At a meeting with the clergy and other corporate institutions, Mr. Korte asked the clergy to use their pulpit to preach to their congregations on the need to fully participate and support the Clean Accra campaign. The General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana, Reverend Dr. Cyril Fayose, pledged the Christian community's support for the initiative.
So we have an awesome responsibility to do that. So we are very happy to support this project and talk to our people to also support it. So that's how we're going to do it, by speaking, sensitizing our people, creating awareness. If you go home, go and take care of the environment, clean your frontage. We'll keep hammering that message, and we believe that they will do it.
The minister also urged corporate institutions to support the initiative. On the given day, the campaign will start from 6 a.m. from the Independence Square to the Kwame Nkrumah interchange and other principal streets.
The Enhancing Natural Forest and Agroforest Landscape Project component of the Ghana Forest Investment Program has received major support. Managers of the project, the Forestry Commission, have received 8 vehicles out of the 13 to augment their fleet, enhance work of the rehabilitation of mined-out areas, and to also tackle deforestation. Clara Mlano reports.
Bono East, Ahafo, Western North, Ashanti, and the eastern regions are the implementation areas of the Ghana Forest Investment Program. The vehicles, 5 Toyota Hilux pickups and 3 Toyota Land Cruisers, will support project activities and monitoring of plantation development activities. The project is purposely targeted at halting the fast trend of deforestation and forest degradation, reduce greenhouse gases, and improve community livelihoods.
Access to means of transport in project management is not a luxury, but a necessity to sustainable project implementation, especially looking at the rough terrain in which the GFIP is being implemented. The forest district to be allocated the pickups are Bekwai, Bediani, and I've been told Chebi.
The Forestry Commission says following a successful implementation of the 5-year Ghana Forest Investment Program, the World Bank approved additional funding to restructure and continue the project to include reclamation of mined-out areas due to small-scale mining.
We want to ensure that at the end, the use of the vehicles will contribute to protecting mine-out sites, but also contributing our quota to private participation in protecting and preserving the forest cover of our country.
Valued at $800,000, project implementers were prompted to put the vehicles to good use and ensure proper maintenance. For GBC News, Clara Mlano reporting.
The Agogo Presbyterian Women's College of Education in the Asante-Achim North municipality of Ashanti has served notice to illegal and potential encroachers to get off the college's land. Management is to employ all legitimate means to resist invasion by developers. A visit by GBC News confirmed massive development of residential apartments there.
Agogo Presbyterian Women's College of Education was founded in 1931 by the Basel Mission to train women teachers for the then Girls Middle School. Situated on a 43-acre land, the college is, however, confronted with challenges. Key among them is inadequate residential facilities on campus to accommodate staff members. Also, there is the ever-increasing prospective applicants who are denied admission due to inadequate classroom space and students' accommodation. These challenges are partly due to encroachment of the college's lands by private developers. A media tour organized by management of the college confirmed massive development of residential apartments, with some completed and occupied. The principal of the college, Reverend Dr. Grayson Timadase, warned that if the rate of encroachment is not urgently addressed, there will be no space for the college to implement its strategic master plan that seeks to transform the institution into a center of excellence. Reverend Dr. Mrs. Sintim Adase explained that some unscrupulous persons have taken advantage of the situation to frequently attack students of the college, especially at night. Hence, the call for assistance to ensure security.
We need protection in the form of good security here, and also we need philanthropists to also come and help us wall the school. And again, the traditional rulers should come to our aid and help us reclaim the land that our forebears.
We have more news coming up in this package. Please stay.
Prevention is an important tool in this fight against
Hello, let's do business. Brought to you by MTN and Whirlpool. My name is Esther Edu Ohumu. Ghana and Rwanda have signed a memorandum of understanding in Accra aimed at boosting bilateral trade between the two nations while providing a platform for greater economic cooperation. Each of the two economies hope to become the strategic entry point to their respective sub-regions.
But despite the long-standing fraternal relations between our two countries, the level of trade, I would say, is very low. And this same phenomenon applies in the area of investments between our two countries. It is against this background that this memorandum of understanding is being signed to develop new strategies and measures that will significantly enhance bilateral trade and economic cooperation between our two countries. We envisage that through this MOU, Ghana can become an entry point for Rwandan investments within the West African sub-region, whilst Rwanda, on the other hand, can become a strategic entry point for Ghana into the Central and Eastern African markets.
The signing of the MOU denotes the practical steps that will allow our private sector and citizens to realize the gains and benefits of the free trade area, to realize the gains and benefits of the broader countries. Our two great leaders, His Excellency Paul Kagame and His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo, have provided great direction on how to achieve this inter-African cooperation. It is therefore incumbent to us, we here in this room, to fast-track the economic links of our great sister countries.
The Minerals Commission has implored stakeholders in the mining sector to step up efforts to promote women's participation in the exploitation of the country's natural resources. The Deputy Chief Executive of the Commission, Ms. Shirley Che, says having a diverse and more inclusive mining industry will help increase the sector's profitability.
There is gender disparity in the mining industry. Despite the vigorous campaign on diversity and inclusion in the last 2 decades, women continue to be vastly underrepresented in various fields of endeavor. According to Bloomberg, the proportion of women employed by mining companies is around 15.7%, up only 1% in the past 5 years, and the numbers are worse at management levels. In Ghana, women represent less than 10% of the mining sector's total workforce. Women in Mining Ghana, an advocacy group driving the sector's inclusivity campaign, has been pushing for more diversity in the industry. This year's annual general meeting of the group focused on tackling the impediments undermining effective female participation in the industry.
A growing body of evidence suggests that stronger financial performance, improved governance, and reduced risk of bankruptcy are associated with the participation of women on corporate boards and in senior management positions. Our cultural myths have not been helpful in this respect either, as have rather added to the impediments against women in the sector. I therefore take this opportunity to call on women in mining to step up the campaign to...
Let's have the interbank and commodity figures for the day. Business News was brought to you by courtesy of MTN and Whirlpool. Thanks for watching.
Hello, good evening. This is the Energy News segment. My name is Mabel Anna. Government has allocated about $526 million for the reconstruction of electricity legacy lines, which are as old as 50 years, inherited from the Volta River Authority by Gridco. The move is to provide a reliable and sustainable power supply to Ghanaians. The project is to kickstart this year and end in 2025. The chief executive of Gridco, Engineer Ibn Zazier, made this known at the VRA 2021 Customer Experience Forum.
We have legacy lines that are more like 50 plus years. VRA is 60 years. Those are lines that we inherited from VRA. And the issue is that we need to make a conscious effort to reconstruct them. And what I went ahead to say that government has mobilized resources in this year's budget. We are in the process and hope that we'll start this year, where we have what we refer to as the Siemens project or Ghana Power project and the Western Corridor project. The Siemens project has 3 components. An SVC, which is an equipment that you use to boost your voltage. When it is low, you boost it. When it is high, it will bring it down. It's an equipment that we are installing. We plan to install at Ahonjo. Ahonjo is the old substation. We package them into 4 lots, and government has made provision for us this year. We are in the process of virtually commencing construction this year. If VIA or government decide to give us $1 billion today, we cannot take out all the lines at the same time to reconstruct. It needs to be planned and phased. That is what we intend to do, to improve on the reliability and the quality of supply to Ghanaians. The total amount that we need is about $526 million. And government has budgeted for this in a phased approach for us. Plus or minus, we are looking at starting some from 2022 and completing almost all that we intend to do by 2025.
Energy experts say developers must be mindful of global warming and design their buildings to be energy efficient. Energy consumption at home constitutes about 40% of the energy generated in the country, and therefore designing smart homes will help save energy for industrial development. An energy engineer, Professor Samuel Jamfi, said homeowners stand to benefit immensely if they follow the building codes in the design of their buildings.
Global temperature has risen by nearly 1 degree Celsius over the last century. Experts forecast that the planet's average temperature will continue to rise due to the greenhouse gas emissions from human activities. This phenomenon is expected to increase the demand for energy for cooling in buildings. According to experts, increased demand for energy will greatly impact socioeconomic development unless conscious efforts are made to address the challenge. Speaking at the monthly webinar series organized by the Energy Technology Center of the UDS, an energy expert, Professor Samuel Jamfi, said unless conscious efforts are made to reduce energy consumption at home, Ghana will continue to struggle to meet the energy requirements for industrialization.
Buildings account for about 40% of global energy use. And in most countries, it's also translating to about 40% of energy use. So if we're able to reduce energy use in buildings, we'll be able to improve on our energy performance.
According to the acting head of the Energy Technology Center, Isaaku Mubarak, it is crucial to build greenhouses that save energy. Dean of the School of Engineering of UDS, Professor Ibrahim Yakubu Saini, therefore called for sensitization to increase awareness on building eco-friendly structures to conserve energy.
We need more energy to run factories rather than go to sleep. And so if our homes are designed to consume less energy, we can't direct more energy to power our industries. And that will create jobs for the young ones.
The monthly webinar series, organized by the Energy Technology Center, is therefore part of efforts to raise public awareness on energy-efficient technologies.
This is how we end the Energy News segment. My name is Mabel Annan.
Welcome to the health segment brought to you by Lufat from Tobinco. There are concerns that the people of Apiati may be suffering some severe to mild health complications after last week Thursday's explosion. A psychosocial post has been opened to cater for people identified to have suffered hearing problems and other post-traumatic syndrome. GBC News spoke with the Western Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Ofori Yeboah. It was on Thursday, January 20, 2022, that an explosion which occurred on the Bogosa-Apiati Highway destroyed an entire community, left some 10 people dead and scores injured amid piles of debris. Currently, the government is taking steps to resettle the displaced and affected persons who are putting up at various locations temporarily. As hospitals around report an increase in traumatic injuries, many of the displaced persons have reported some levels of anxiety, psychological trauma, and cases of mutism.
In the long term, it is known that explosions like this may be associated with post-traumatic stress disorder and possible permanent hearing injuries as well. And as you are aware, we know the vehicle was carrying some agents. So possible exposure to toxic substances may also result in some respiratory problems in the long term. But the good news is that the Ghana Health Service, in collaboration with our partners, are actually tracking and observing these possible changes. A team of ENT specialists which were sent to the site have already finished screening about 40 people who are reporting various forms of hearing impairment.
Dr. Ofori Yeboah says the Ghana Health Service has also established a health post to provide emergency care to the people and to stem the outbreak of other diseases. The health segment was brought to you by Lufat from Tobinco.